Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Happier Life podcast. I'm your host, Claire Deacon. After deciding survival wasn't enough, I set out on a path to live my best life. I wanted to thrive. Now I'm on a mission to support others. Think you're not good enough, confident enough, brave enough? I'm here to tell you you are, and you can achieve anything. This is your time, so let's do this. Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of The Happier Life. It's another rainy day here, and with the changing seasons, long gone now are those warm summer evenings, and it's a time for warm jumpers and hot chocolate. Maybe it's just me, but with the change in seasons brings a different self-care regime for me. Rather than my dancing tunes and wanting to get out and about to raise my energy, I tend to opt for comfort and snuggling down, a slightly slower pace. Well, that's the intention. This week has seen me stepping up into a new challenge. I have just signed myself up to an event where I will be speaking on stage at a well-known venue in the UK. I haven't yet determined what I will be talking about, but it will include some of the issues I deal with on a daily basis at Happier. Scared? Absolutely, but it's something I have been inspired to do, and I know it's going to provide me with an opportunity to get my messages heard and to help more people live their best life, no matter their starting point. So it's time for me to again step up. And for those of you who want to know more about the event, I shall be releasing details nearer the time once the full schedule of speakers has been announced. It was certainly interesting though, how in trying to make the decision to take on what is quite a big step for me, all these voices came into my head. And when I spoke to others, I got quite a range of responses too. Now, if I had listened to some of those responses, there is no way I would have signed up to do it. I found myself not only dealing with all those voices in my head, but I was now gathering up what felt like an army of opinions, which resulted in so much more frustration and overwhelm than perhaps was necessary. I hear this quite often with clients who come to work with me, the opinion of those around them who want to pass comments on what they are or aren't doing. So this week, let's explore why people are giving you those opinions and how you can move through them to make the right decision for you. Sometimes we invite people to offer their opinion on a decision we are making. Other times people offer their unsolicited opinions, either directly or indirectly. When I say indirectly, I mean those messages that are sent to us through someone else or are implied. For example, for me this year, I had someone sent to me, let's call them a messenger, to tell me that I was wrong and that someone else was upset with me with a decision that I have made. Does that make it wrong? Was my opinion wrong? No. What it meant was that individual had an emotional reaction to something I was doing, but wasn't secure enough to deliver the message for themselves or capable of engaging in a conversation that would have enabled us to gain an understanding of each other's perspectives. Indirectly can also come in the form of passive-aggressive comments when someone indicates they have an opinion on our actions and are displeased with us, but for some reason are unable to communicate this directly and openly with us. Then there are those that like to take direct action. They share their opinions with us, whether they have been invited to or not. Now, the important thing to recognise here is that anyone's opinion is formed from a combination of their own knowledge and experience, and mixed in with that will be their own position. So whether they are impacted by the decisions that you're making, how it will affect them, how it will influence them. Again, these can be indirectly or directly, and the emotions that people feel in response to all of that. Sometimes we take action that, whilst it doesn't impact on someone directly, so they are not involved in the action we are taking, but by simply bearing witness to our actions, it influences how they feel about themselves or their lives and can make them feel uncomfortable about their own action or inaction. It can also have the opposite effect on them. For some, me deciding to step onto the stage and have a voice will be inspirational. For others, it will make them feel uncomfortable. And then, for the rest, they will fall somewhere in between and have no real feeling or opinion on my decision, as it's irrelevant to them. Their opinions and feelings around decisions you are making for yourself are also influenced by their own life expectations, what they perceive they or you should be doing. So, however others provide their opinion and feedback to us on our actions, directly, indirectly, passively, or aggressively, what we need to always consider is that this opinion comes from a place of their own personal perspective and is founded on the lens through which they view you and the world. Their judgment and opinion hold no greater power. It is but an opinion, a perception, and it is in your power what you do with this feedback and judgment. Anyone who offers an opinion, whether invited or not, which is derogatory or offensive, that is not coming from a place of love and support, can simply be ignored. It does not warrant a response. However, this can sometimes be difficult to do. Sometimes it is difficult if we don't have healthy boundaries in place, and that's something I will talk about in another podcast episode. For some of you, it may be the case that you don't feel strong enough to defend yourself. If you find your self-worth depleted, if you have spent so much time prioritising others and not listening to your own needs and wants, it can be really difficult to defend yourself, and you can find yourself taking on their comments as though they are your own. For others, it may be these opinions are coming from people who you love and care about, and you feel obliged to take on their opinions, even though your intuition is telling you something different. If you are finding yourself in receipt of these comments and judgments, and you are not being supported in the decisions you are making for yourself, then there are a number of steps you can take to help you make the decision whether their opinion is valid or whether you can give yourself permission to let go of their judgment and perhaps even forgive them for how their judgment may have made you feel. Firstly, recognise their opinion is only their perspective. It is their view on life and is founded on their own experiences and feelings. It comes from their tiny part of the universe and holds no greater power than your own. Secondly, ask yourself where their opinion is coming from. Are they trying to keep you safe? Are they trying to live their lives through you? Are they emotionally involved in what you are doing? Do they have your best interests at heart? After my husband passed away and I was considering leaving my job, I had a whole range of responses. Some of those were looking out for me and trying to keep me safe. Some clearly felt very uncomfortable that I was making that choice because it would trigger fear in them. Others, it created jealousy because they wanted out of a job they were stuck and they felt it wasn't fair. Don't get me wrong, there were those who fully backed my decision. They were people who were hearing my message, who were listening to me and what I was saying. They weren't so stuck in their own self-limiting beliefs or responding from a place of emotional turmoil, that they could truly hear me and trusted me. They were those who were coming from a place of love and would support me in the decision-making process. Some people may not get you, and that's okay. We are not all here to be liked. If that was the intention, we wouldn't have a brain that is so complex in its ability to take on board so much information, to determine a personality that is so truly unique. Even the smallest of differences diverts us from living the same path as another. We are all unique, and we all have the right to determine our own path. We all have a limited perception, and having an opinion and view that is not the same as our own does not mean that someone is evil, out to get you. Obviously, there are those that have those issues, but we are talking about the general populace. If someone doesn't agree with you or what you're doing, it doesn't mean they don't love you, and it doesn't mean you don't love them. It's just you have a different lens on your life and the world. Their opinion is theirs. Their emotions are theirs. Their goals are theirs. Their life is theirs. And very importantly, your life is yours. Your emotions, your goals, your dreams are all yours. Remembering that they are coming from their own perspective, you can contain their opinions, and it's much easier to let go of them. You will also find yourself able to handle their opinions in a less emotionally charged way. If someone voices an opinion on you in a derogatory way, and you can understand where they are coming from, you can respond in a more considered way, allowing your personal boundaries to be upheld, adhering to your own needs and wants, and showing yourself the respect that you deserve. Thank them for sharing their message. You have heard what they're saying, but respectfully, that is not how you see the world, and that the decision you are making is the one that feels right for you. If you don't feel empowered to give a response that isn't emotionally charged, then give yourself the space you need, put a pin in it until you are ready and able to respond in a more considered way. I'm by no means saying this is easy, but as you start to listen to yourself and holding your own opinions with the high regard they deserve, the more empowered you will feel to protect yourself from unwanted opinions, and the easier it will become to let them go. By challenging these opinions up front, it stops you taking them into your mind and keeping them stored in your unconscious mind, allowing them to undermine your confidence and stop you in your tracks of taking action. For anyone who listened to the Mind the Gap episode last week, this is an example of how those self-limiting beliefs are formed and stored in our minds, and as time goes on, we forget where they even came from. Okay, so thirdly, establish an emotional distance from their thoughts and feelings. That's for them to deal with. Find strength and empowerment in your own opinions. Acknowledge your feelings, your needs, and your wants. Ensure that your decisions and opinions are in alignment with your own set of values. Listen to your intuition. By protecting your inner self, you will reinforce your self-worth and confidence. You will commit yourself to the action you are taking, and you will increase your ability to achieve what you want. So, 3 steps. 1. Acknowledge their opinion is just that. Theirs, shaped by their own experiences and feelings of themselves and their view of the world. 2. Understand where their opinion is coming from so you can let it go. 3. Be clear on your own beliefs, intentions, values, needs, and wants. Listen to your intuition. Trust yourself. Remember, pick your battles. You don't need to go to war. There isn't a need to win. It's okay to be in a different place. Trying to live up to the expectations, opinions of others, and trying to make everyone else happy without regard for ourselves makes us miserable. And if these people are looking out for your best interests, then they don't want to see you miserable. If you are constantly trying to people please, you are giving away your power. You will be embedding self-doubt. You will reinforce feelings of not being good enough. It's so important that we know who we are, that we understand our values, what we want for our own lives. You must know what you are doing and where you are going to feel strong and to hold up your standards and beliefs so that you are not undermined. Letting go of other people's opinions does not mean we don't care about them. It means we are assured of ourselves. Everyone has an opinion, but where's your opinion? You are a free and independent person who is capable of determining how you want to live, of living a life that is best for you. Sometimes you will find people who will try and tell you how you should live, what you should do, and we may not want to disappoint them, but we need to stand strong. This is not their life. They have a different set of values, a different set of goals, a different view of the world. So this week, instead of taking on board the opinions and values of others, I want you to think about how you feel about your life, how you want to live, what your instinct is telling you about what you want to do. Do you feel calm? Do you feel energized? Are you being kind? If you can answer yes to these questions, you can be assured that even if others have a different view, it doesn't matter. As long as you are enjoying your life and being kind, you are on the right path. You may have spent a lifetime trying to please others, to live up to their standard, but it never works. It doesn't make you or them happy. It doesn't allow you or them to grow. So make a decision to live a life that makes you feel good. Even though other people may have differing opinions, let them go. Love, accept, respect. Trust yourself in the decisions you are making, and if at any point you make a wrong decision, you learn from it and you forgive yourself. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you are looking for some support with your own well-being, reach out, email me, claire@happiercoach.com, or DM me @happiercoach. For those of you who want to explore further your own values and beliefs, if you're feeling detached from your life and want to build greater clarity and assurance of who you are, then take a look at my recently published workbook and journal on Amazon, Reconnect to a Happier Life. If you check out www.happiercoach.com/reconnect workbook, you will find all of the information. I will leave the links in the description for this episode. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, ensure you hit subscribe, head on over to my website happiercoach.com, sign up for the weekly newsletter, and let me support you in living a happier life. I'm your host, Claire Deacon. Thank you for listening. Have a fabulous day.